Hello and welcome to our Pilates setup. Are you ready to begin? Excellent. So stand with feet hip-width apart. Press your feet down into the floor. So equal weight in the balls of the feet and the heels, left and right. So pushing down, and as you push down with your feet, imagine yourself growing up through the ankles, pushing down with those feet. So growing up, ankles, calves, up through the thighs, growing tall and up through the hips and the lower back. Keep bringing yourself taller and taller, mid-back, through the shoulders, and finally the crown of the head itself pulling towards the ceiling. So we're now as tall as we possibly can be. Now take the shoulders and just shrug them back and down to make sure that they're sitting snugly and securely on top of our shoulder blades. So don't force them, just let them sit and rest naturally. Now the most important bit is to engage our core. Now our core for this engagement is the transversus abdominis muscle. It's that muscle that runs from the top of the hips around the lower ribs. So it's a big sheet of muscle like a belt. So we're going to tighten it like a belt all the way around, not just at the front. So coming tall again, pull that muscle in, pull that belt in around your body from the back round to the front. Squeeze it all in and squeeze as hard as you can. So really squeeze through that belt, and at the same time bring the pelvic floor up and squeeze that as well, so you can hardly do any more effort. Squeeze, and now release to about 30% of that contraction. So we're still engaged, but we're not really squeezing too hard. You can feel that engagement around the core area. This is the level of engagement we're going to keep throughout the whole session today. Okay, keeping that height, keeping that engagement, we're going to walk the heels together, and we're going to start with heel lifts. Just a little warm up as we come up onto our heels, so onto our toes, raising our heels off the floor. Can you get both heels off at the same time? So coming up on both as we swap our feet over. Now at the same time, keep the legs going. We're going to look over one shoulder, squeezing into the neck and upper back, and move the head horizontally as we go round the other way and squeeze lightly. Round to the front and round the other side again, squeezing perhaps a little bit more range of motion out. And now round to the second side. This time when we come back, we're going to drop the chin towards the chest and roll through in a semicircle. So we're going to bring the upper back in as well. And we're going to come back the other way. So chin towards the chest, feel the stretch in the neck and the upper back. Keep those legs going as we bring the head towards the front. And now we're going to keep the feet still. We're going to move them to around hip width apart. Come tall, keep engaged, keep the hips and shoulders pointing to the front. We're going to do some leg curls. So this is all about the hamstrings. Weight in one leg and slowly squeeze the heel towards the body and down. And the other side, so keep the knee pointing downwards. This is a slow version of an exercise and a warm-up that we do very often, but this time a little bit more considered and really squeezing into those hamstrings. If you put your hands on the back of the thighs, you will feel that the only thing moving at the moment is the hamstrings, which are pulling the lower leg up. Keeping the knee pointing downwards means that it's just the hamstrings that are firing. 2 more. 1 and 2. Excellent. Now keep the feet hip width apart. We're going to mobilize the shoulders now. So fix the hips, engage the core. We're going to move the hands out to the front, palms downwards, shoulders just a little bit forwards. And now we're going to bring the elbows back, squeeze the shoulder blades together and forwards again. So pushing the shoulder blades apart, bring them together. So keep the shoulders down, but just stretch forward, squeeze them back. Open up the shoulder blades, squeeze them back. So keep the spine neutral. Don't lean and move the hips. 2 more. And last one. Now come with the arms out the front. Reach here. We're going to do another movement for the shoulder blades. We're going to work diagonally. So coming up diagonally, squeeze and reach. And back to the center. Other diagonals, we reach as far as we can. So stretch and reach. Stretch and reach. We're going to do 4 more, 2 on each side. 1 and 2. And the last one each side. And to the front. Now we're going to bring the arms at shoulder height out to the side. Now time to really, really stretch and lengthen so you feel the whole of the stretch through the upper arm and the forearm. Now standing here, we're going to turn one palm up towards the ceiling and now the other one as we rotate, just moving and rotating the shoulders, mobilizing the rotator cuffs. So keep that length in the arms, so stretch out, keep rotating. Last 2. Now from here, keep the elbows high, bring the forearms up towards the ceiling and drop 1 down. So we're going to do that rotator cuff move again. This time, we've got a little bit more leverage so we can squeeze into those muscles. Be careful not to squeeze too much, it's quite an unstable joint, but just get that motion going. And 4, 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Bring the arms out again, this time with the palms facing forwards. So reach long, shoulders down, engage that core. Come tall. We're going to move the arms behind the body line if that works for you. If not, keep them in line with the body. You can feel the stretch through the chest and the front of the arms. At the same time, we're going to really push into those feet. Come tall through the body. And if you would like to, gently tilt the chin upwards so that we're now extending that spine. Breathe into that extension. We're stretching sideways and back and upwards at the same time. And now chin towards the chest as we curl back into a flexion of the spine. So big hugs. We've gone from extension to flexion. And we're going to do that again. We're going to open up, reach long, stretch the arms slightly behind the body line. Feel that stretch. And now come tall. Tilt the chin slightly in the air and extend and lengthen that spine. And now chin towards the chest as we flex the spine and give ourselves a hug the other way up. Excellent. Arms out to the sides and then down. So just reset. I've got my hands on the outside of my thighs. So I'm going to keep the weight even in the feet, and I'm not going to sway my hips around as I just move my hand down towards my knee, engage the core to come back up. So keep going, alternate sides. Whereas the last movement involved very much the thoracic spine, which is the mid-back, this one is all about the lumbar spine moving side to side. So can you, keeping the hips still, just squeeze a little bit greater range of motion each time we move through. No need to force it, but just see if the body can naturally get a little bit further down as it warms up. Last one. Excellent. So we're working down the body. We're going to do a little bit of hip work now. Most important to warm up the hips. So just standing where we are, a little hula, just to release the lower back when we've been working it laterally. And we'll go back the other way. So small hulas just to wake up all those muscles around the hips and around the pelvis. Fantastic. So we're going to test our balance with hip openers. Your arms can be wherever you want them to be to help you balance. You can always keep your feet on the floor and just open up the hips with the foot on the floor if balance is a problem. If it isn't a problem, or if you would like to do a little bit further, lift the knee up to hip height. We're going to keep the hips pointing to the front as we squeeze out to the side. We're going to come back to the centre and squeeze down. 2 more this side, so open up. Ooh, can't look at it, this is where I can't look. Squeeze out to the side. So feel it in the hips, come back to the centre. Now keeping that right angle, squeeze the knee back so you can feel it in the hamstrings. And last one, up, squeeze, back, and down. Excellent. Other side, so plant that foot firmly, soften the knee, knee to hip height. Open out, squeeze into that opening, back to the front and squeeze down into the hamstring. 2 more. Up, open, forward, and down and squeeze. Last time. Up and open, forward and down and squeeze. Last one for this position. We're going to wake up the glutes. So we're going to do a hip hinge, which is half a deadlift really. That's a deadlift without the feet. Feet planted firmly, hip width apart, slightly outwards. I'm going to fold forward from my hips. So my hips are going to go back, my spine is going to stay neutral. I'm going to engage the core, I'm going to look slightly ahead, hinge, till my back comes more or less parallel to the floor. I'm looking ahead, I'm lengthening my spine. Engage the glutes, engage the core. Stand up. We're going to do that 3 times more. I'm just going to turn around to the side so you can see it from a sideways view. As I keep my spine long, I'm not flexing the spine at all. I'm hinging from the hips, engage the core to come up. 2 more. Hinging through, keeping that spine nice and neutral, none of this. Keeping it neutral, engage the glutes to pull us back up. And last one, coming down, squeeze through, engage those glutes and come back up. Keeping those feet in the same position, lightly clasp the hands, hold them at around chin height, and we're going to do some squats, your range of motion. So weight slightly in the heels as we go down and push up. So don't go very far at first, we're going to build up into these, but good squat form applies. So my hips are coming out the back so that my knees don't travel forward of my toes. My weight is slightly in my heels. I am hinging from my hips, keeping my spine long. So I'm looking up. I'm looking up more or less at my hands, which is why they're at chin height. We're going to do 3 more. Keep pushing into those heels, and the muscles we're using are the back of the body. It's called the posterior chain, the calves, the hamstrings, and the glutes. Now we're going to add on same leg motion, flop forward and come tall. So flopping forward, flexing the spine, coming tall. Reach at the top, 2 more. Reach, and last one. Reach. Fantastic. Now bringing the legs a little bit wider than hip width apart. we are going to do some plie squats. Now, plie squats, great for the inner thighs and great for the hips. What we don't do in plie squats is stick our hips out the back. We're going to imagine we're sliding our back down a wall. Before we start, feet 45 degrees more or less and flat on the floor. The temptation is to roll them forwards in this exercise. If your feet are flat on the floor and at around 45 degrees, if you lightly flex your knees, the knees should travel in the direction of the foot, in fact, the direction of the first toe. So if you're happy, knees wide, sink down that wall. Go as low as you can go, hold here, squeeze into the inner thigh and squeeze back up slowly. We're going to do another 4 of these, so just sinking down to your level, sliding that back down the wall, squeeze and up. So it's tension down, so it's squeezing down and squeezing back up again. 2 more, that's all. Squeeze down, squeeze up. Last one, here we go. Squeezing down, keep those feet flat on the floor, the knees wide, and squeeze up. Now bring the legs back to hip width apart for our final exercise. Just give them a little shake if they're a little bit stiff. Feet hip width apart. We're going to fix our hips and our shoulders. So we are going to move in the transverse plane. We're just going to rotate round. Now obviously, if our hips and shoulders are fixed, there's not an awful lot that can move. We're working a little bit of the shoulders, but there's nothing much that's moving here. So keeping the hips fixed, let's release the shoulders. So first thing that happens is we can get a bigger rotation. Let the head and neck go as well. Keep the hips pointing towards the camera here. Just relax the arms, let them go naturally, and you should feel the middle back rotating. And the rotation point somewhere around the bottom of the rib cage, in that sort of area of the spine. But just let the spine go. And now we're going to go the whole way. We're going to release the hips, but as we do, lift the rear heel off the floor so that we're not rotating through the knees. Okay, here we go. So turn and turn and turn. Now just let the arms go, let them relax, and let that body rotate and mobilize through the hips and through the spine for 4 and 3, 2, 1. Excellent. And we're warm. I shall see you for the session. Hello and welcome to Pilates Session 3. Today, as ever, we'll be working towards an intermediate level. I'll be showing both modifications to exercises and progressions, so you can work at whatever level you choose. Remember, listen to your body, and if you don't like an exercise and you can't do or don't want to do the modifications, just miss it out, but always listen to you rather than listen to me. Today we'll need a rolled up towel in case you would like it either under your head or under your pelvis for certain exercises, and have some water nearby. Preferably as well an exercise mat or something to lay on that's soft and comfortable. Are you ready? Then we shall start. Okay, we're starting off first of all on all fours, so 4-point kneeling. Now I know not everyone is great with hands and wrists being in this position, so first of all you can go on what's called a gorilla pose, which is basically on your knuckles, keeping your back of your hand in line with the back of the arm. If that doesn't work for you, you can try down on the forearms for many of these exercises, or indeed you can put some blocks underneath the arms as well. Anyhow, let's set ourselves up. So knees under hips, wrists, elbows, shoulders in alignment, Both my hands and my knees are hip width apart. And now I'm looking slightly ahead, and I am trying to make the biggest length possible between the crown of my head and my coccyx. So I'm really lengthening my back. Okay, so the first thing we do is we're going to do what's called a fire hydrant. We are going to engage our core. So really suck in that band of muscle that's around the core and around the middle of the body. Keeping the pelvis stable without swaying the body, without changing weight at all. We're going to lift the right leg up, bent, and squeeze it up without moving the pelvis at all. So only go as far as you can without moving the pelvis. Squeeze into that position. Now come down. Now keeping that same leg, we're going to do that another 5 times. So think about keeping that pelvis still and about not changing body weight. So core engaged, up we come, squeeze up and down. Squeeze. So remember, only go as far as you can go without keeping or without moving that pelvis. So that's 3. This is 4, and squeeze up, that's 5. Now reset that position, we're going to go with the other leg. So engage the core again, 6 this side. So don't sway the body, keep the pelvis still and squeeze into those glutes for 1, now another 5, and 2. Squeezing up. 3, 4, remember keep those shoulders down as well, keep that core engaged. 5, excellent. Now from here, just reset that 4-point kneeling position if you need to. We're going to go into Superman. Now Superman, as well as working the glutes, will work our shoulders as well. So we are going to take our left arm and right leg, not moving the pelvis or the body at all. We're going to extend both opposite arm and leg along the floor. Engage that core as we raise both up to shoulder height and hip height. Now really lengthen the hand away from that foot. Really stretch away and lengthen. Keep that foot pointing towards the 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. Down, touch the floor, and back. Now if you don't want to lift, just keep the arm and leg on the floor. So sliding the other pair of arm and leg out, right arm, left leg. Lift up to shoulder and hip height, lengthen away, stretch and reach without moving the pelvis. Keep breathing and hold for 2, for 1, now down on the floor and back. We're going to do 2 more either side, slightly quicker. So left arm, right leg, out, stretch up, hip height, shoulder height, lengthen away, hold for 2, for 1, down, back. Other pair, up and lengthen. Really hold, stretch away, keeping that foot pointed downwards. 2, 1, down, and hold. Don't forget the shoulders, keep them away from the ears. First opposites, left hand, right leg, lifting up, stretching away, really holding. 2, 1, down, and back. So you should be feeling it in the glutes now. So squeeze up, and up we come, lifting right arm, left leg, stretching away. As you lengthen that leg, feel it in the glutes. 2, 1, down and back. Excellent work. So quick shake off. We're going to add on to that. So you can either stay along the floor or lifting up, but we are going to add on, and in that up position, we're going to rotate the arm and the leg outwards to 45 degrees. Hold for a second, then come back. And we're going to do it twice either side. So stick at whatever level works for you. So left arm, right leg, extend along the floor, coming up, stretch and reach. Now rotate to 45 degrees, both arm and leg, hold there, don't move the body. Come back and down. Now other side, so this is all about stability of the core. Can we keep that core stable while we're waving our arms and legs around in various positions? Hold for 2, for 1, back. Keep to hip height, squeeze into the glutes, down and back. One more either side. Very important when you do this, and we're coming up, don't arch the back. Keep that back absolutely stable by using the core. Back, down and through. So core is engaged, hips stable, back is not sagging but staying long. Out to 45 degrees, hold there for 2, for 1, back, down on the floor, and back again. Well done, nice work. Give us a quick shake off here. Marvellous, now we're coming down to a sitting position. I'm just moving myself to the back of the mat. You don't have to, but I think otherwise you won't be able to see me. So we're going to sit upright on our sit bones. Now they're the rather uncomfortable bits, so they're the bottom of your pelvis. So it means we're sitting quite forward, not back. We're sitting quite in the forward position. Now pull yourself upright. Imagine that crown of the head coming up towards the ceiling. So pulling up, keeping that spine neutral, sitting on those sit bones. Don't lean back, don't lean forward. Easier said than done, but if you're finding it uncomfortable while you're sitting here listening to me chattering, you're probably in the right position. Now, if you can't get your knees straight out the front, by all means, just bend them slightly or bring them forward. Basically, what we're going to do is more important than the position of your legs, so whatever position works for you. I am going to be sitting up tall with my feet approximately hip width apart and the toes flexed towards me. That's the ideal position, but whatever works for you. What is key is you're on your sit bones and we are tall, engaging the core. Fantastic. So now, from here we're going to mobilize the spine. We're going to bring our arms up to shoulder height out the front with palms down. Get those shoulders down. We're going to lean forward, but imagine that there is a big beach ball sitting on your lap. And instead of just collapsing in at the hips, we're going to try with our tummy not to touch that beach ball, and we're going to try and round over it. So we're going to extend through the lumbar spine and through the thoracic spine. So here we go, feet flexed, coming up tall. As we come forward, try not to touch that big beach ball that's on your lap. Now if you can, now just drop the head through the arms a little bit, still engaging that core with a big hollow and the back is rounded. Now come back up, stacking the lower back, middle back, upper back. We're going to go again, so coming down through the upper back, coming forward, middle back, lower back, trying not to touch and collapse on that beach ball. Drop the head slightly and reach forward so you feel the stretch through the back and a little bit through the hamstrings. Coming back up, stacking lower back, middle back, upper back. We go one last time. So here we go, coming back, upper back, middle back, lower back, reaching forward, keeping that space where the beach ball is and dropping the head down and really reaching, breathing out as we reach, and now breathing in as we stack lower back, middle back, upper back. Great work. That was a bit of a back mobilization in the sagittal plane, which is the forward and back plane. What we're going to do now is a little bit of spine twisting. So we've worked in the forward and back plane. What about if we work left and right, which is the transverse plane? So take your hands, put the 2 index fingers together. Those 2 index fingers come under the chin and thumbs just sit in that hollow in your chest and neck. So we are lightly just interlacing our hands very lightly, and we've now joined the head and the body together by using these hands. So keeping the legs in the same position as before, come tall. Come as tall as you can. Imagine that string pulling you up, so the crown of the head is coming towards the ceiling. Be careful not to lean backwards. Now what we're going to do is imagine moving from the waist first. So the hips are fixed, we're going to move from the waist, turning to the right, probably your left actually, coming through, squeezing there, and coming back to the front. Keep tall as we go the other way. So head and body are fixed together. This is led by the body. One more either side, leading, moving with the waist, turning round, really coming tall, feeling the mobilization through the spine, coming back to the front. Don't forget the feet flex towards you, coming back round the other way, squeeze as far as we can go, and now back to the front. Keeping this height, arms in Cossack position. Now you can of course keep your hands where they were. If you want to do Cossack, just shoulders and elbows at the same height, palms resting loosely on top of the forearms. So now we're going to do the same thing again, but remember, we're led by the body, not by the head. So the body leads, the head and shoulders follow. Squeeze, back to the front, come tall, other way. Once more. Come tall as we squeeze round as far as we can, led by that body, head and shoulders follow. Excellent. Now, you can keep the arms there. The third iteration of this is arms out wide in a T position. So palms facing down, shoulders down, come tall, get those shoulders back and down, and don't lean back. Okay, so this time exactly the same thing, but we're going to do 3 little pulses when we get to each end of the movement. Now what we're going to do is concentrate about leading with the body. In other words, what we're not going to do is go, we are going to lead with the body as a unit. So here we go, you ready? Come tall, turning to your left. So lead with that body, the arms stay in the same position relative to the body. 1, 2, 3 pulses as we reach long with the arms. Concentrate, leading with the body, head and shoulders follow. 1, 2, 3. Back again, you may be feeling it in the hip flexors now. Come tall, engage that core, take a bit of the pressure off the hip flexors, go again, turn to your left. Coming through, 1, 2, 3, back to the front, coming tall, being pulled up towards the ceiling, coming over to the right now, 1, 2, 3. Excellent. And down. So just relax and shrug those shoulders back. Brilliant work. We are now moving onto the mat, onto our backs, supine position. Okay, so the next move is very much for the whole of the core and core stability. So let's start off with table taps. Back is long and neutral, head and shoulders relaxed. Feet, legs just comfortable really. We're going to engage that core, so squeeze in that corset of muscle as we float one leg up into tabletop. So remember tabletop, my knee is above my thigh and my shin is parallel to the floor. Now engage the core. As you do so, we are going to float the second leg up into tabletop. So float that second leg up. If you are happy, we are going to begin. So hands loosely down by the side, tap left foot through the floor, bring it back up. Right, and tap. So just keep going, alternate taps, relax the head and shoulders. Now at the moment, this isn't too difficult an exercise. So to add the next level of complexity or next level of difficulty, to progress it, we're going to take our hands, just cross them lightly over our shoulders so we've no longer got stability from the hands. So keep tapping. Now keep that core engaged, keep pressing down on that lower back. If at any time you want to move or put your hands under the pelvis, please do so. So can we progress further? Can we tap slightly further away? So tapping the heels on the floor, coming back each time to that tabletop position, focusing on two things. Firstly, keeping that lower back on the floor, and secondly, that pelvis is stable, the core is engaged, the hips are not rocking and rolling, we are keeping the pelvis stable. Last one. Fantastic, stay there if you can. Now we can either go back to doing whatever leg position you need, or we can add the arms. So knees and feet are still hip width apart, arms are now up in the air. We're going to tap opposite heel as the opposite arm comes down and touches the floor. So tap through and come back up. Really reach now with the leg and the arm. We're going to do 8 of these, so 4 on each side. Pushing up. And push. Keep pushing that lower back down. Engaging the core, and of course breathing. Not an option, the breathing bit. Reach and reach. Now hold here. If you can, keep holding in this position. We are going to put both hands against the knees, just resting against the knees here. Engage the core, push the back down. And what I'd like you to do is, looking straight at the ceiling, bring the knees towards the body as you resist them with the hands. So bring those knees towards the body, resist the movement with the hands, engage that core. You'll feel the opposition really working in the core. Push that lower back down, hold this position, really pulling the knees up towards the body. Hold for 3, for 2, for 1, and release. Whew. Not as easy as it looks, so we'll go just one more time. So hands against knees, ready to bring the knees down towards the body. You're bringing them back, you're resisting with the hands. 3, 2, 1. Squeeze the knees towards the hands push towards the knees. Push that lower back down. Squeeze both together, push, 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 and hold for 3, for 2, for 1, and release. Now down and float one leg down and the other leg down. Nice work, well done. So just now, if you need to, do a full body stretch to stretch off those muscles, those front of the core, the abdominals that have worked very hard. If you are doing a full body stretch, just make sure to keep your rib cage on the mat. Don't arch. Keep your ribs on the mat as we stretch long through the body. Excellent. So we're now moving into what's called a windmill. So from here, we are going to bring our arms out to the side in a T position. Gently floating both legs up towards the ceiling. And lengthening up with the feet. Now, we are going to be swaying and moving the legs and the hips left to right. It's going to work the obliques, great exercise, but we don't need to do it with long legs. If you would like to, just do it with bent legs, just as effective. Or indeed, you can do it on the floor and just drop the knees, left and right. Still a really effective exercise for the core, and my cues will still hold good. In other words, don't arch the lower back at any time. So what I'm saying for the straight leg people will go for the people with bent legs or feet on the floor. So off we go. I'm going to have my feet up towards the ceiling. Now, first set of these, we're going to try and keep the pelvis on the floor, so we're not going to move very far. Legs both go to the left, just a little way. Keeping that pelvis on the floor, engage the obliques, bring them back. Now to the right. So it doesn't really matter whether your feet are pointed. I do what I call a loose point. And back. Once more either side. So a little way to the left. Engage the core to bring back. And a little way to the right. Looking up at the ceiling, relax the head and shoulders, bring the legs back. Now, we're going to go a little bit of free form. We're going to let those hips go. So now we're going to do twice either side, go as far as you want to, bearing in mind that we've got to get the legs back up again. So keep that form, hold that position, don't arch the back, and bring the legs back up towards the ceiling. Dropping down to the right now, going down as far as you are comfortable with. Hold it there just for a second and come back up. Other side, down we come, dropping down. And last one, so keep those head, neck and shoulders relaxed. Hold there, make sure the back isn't arching as we come back up. Great work. Now from here, we are going to do some single leg drops. So, hands by the sides of the body. Alternatively, if this is going to be a little bit hard or you're not happy having the hands down by the side, just put your hands or a towel on your pelvis. But either way, keeping the right leg up in the air, we're going to drop the left leg till it almost comes onto the floor and bring it back up again. So lower abdominal exercise again, drop and up, down, up. So we're getting the motion of the legs. Now can we add on? This time I'm going to curl my body off the mat and just hold behind my right thigh. So I'm now curling up with my core engaged, pulling my right leg. You can hold behind the right calf as well. It's a bit like a hamstring stretch. But I'm going to pull my body towards my right leg as my left leg drops down. Keeping that pelvis stable, keeping the shoulders away from the ears. Engaging the core, I'm going to swap legs. Keep that left leg long and the right leg long. So this is called a control balance. We're controlling the stability of the pelvis. I'm not rocking, I'm not rolling, I'm pulling myself up towards my legs. And I'm using the arms just to give a little bit of stretch on the hamstrings. Fantastic. Last two, keep that core engaged. Marvelous. Now calming back down just for a moment. So we're moving on to our sides. We are going to do some spinal mobility and a little bit of strength work on our sides. Side planks can be one of two things. We are going to go on our forearms. If you're unsure or it hurts to hold a full side plank, then by all means, please do this version. It is just as good, but you are just supporting yourself on your knees. If you want to do a full bridge or a full plank, then absolutely, this is the position to be in. So here we go, into your choice of plank. Make sure the hips are stacked. If you are on both legs, it's perhaps easier to have the top foot in front of the bottom foot. That stacks the hips automatically. Make sure the hips are high. So almost now, Inverse banana, so upside down banana, we're curving round that way. Arm up to the ceiling. As we now come and thread through, reach through, mobilize the middle of the back and up. So you have to release the hips with this one. So the hips come to, stretch through and back. 2 more. Keep that arm long, feed through, stretch and up. And last time, stretching through, 3, feed through and up we come. Now holding the arm up high, pushing the hips up towards the ceiling, 6 hip drops to the mat and lifting back up again. So hip down and up. Great for the obliques. 2 and 3, 4, 5, 6. Great work. And finally, we are finishing in a star position. So my arm and my leg are just off in a star hold. Breathe into that. Stretch the arm and the leg away and hold for 3, for 2, for 1. And now either come down or go into asymmetric star, which is arm forward, legs slightly back. So hold for another 3, 2, 1. Excellent work. And down. Fantastic. Now from here, we're going to go down on our fronts for a couple of prone exercises. So the first one, we are going to do a little bit of swimming. So arms and legs out the back and front of the mat. Hips are level and seated squarely onto the mat. Engage the core, so you're putting the tummy button off the mat, imagining that there's that ice cube under there and you're trying to pull the tummy away from that ice cube. Now squeeze the glutes together. This is going to be some quite deliberate swimming. So move and imagine trying to walk the toes away from the fingertips. So we're now coming as long as we possibly can. We're going to take opposite arm, opposite leg. Just lift off the floor from the hip and the shoulder and down. Head is just slightly off the mat looking ahead. Other pair of opposites. Now really reach and keep going on those opposites. Keep the core stable so the body isn't rocking, but we're moving from the shoulders and from the hips. And we're going to do 4 and 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Now coming back here, we are going to just move and extend the spine just one more way, and that's using a dart position. So head just rests gently either on your towel or just gently on the mat. We're going to put the hands so they're down the sides of the thighs. So from here, shoulders relaxed. We're going to look forward. We are going to extend the crown of the head away from the feet. And as we do so, we're going to slide the hands down towards the knees. So here we go. So sliding away, extending and lengthening through the crown of the head and soles of the feet. Hold and lengthen and move the hands down. Keep breathing out for 3, for 2, for 1, and relax. Fantastic. 2 more of those. So here we go again. Inhale to set up, and now exhale and stretch away. So engaging that core, stretching the crown of the head away from the soles of the feet, really elongating through the body like a torpedo. 3, 2, 1, and down. And last time, so inhale to prepare. And as you exhale, stretch away. So stretching away, hands walking down towards the knees. So shoulders are down, but the rest of the body stretching away. Soles of the feet to top of the head. 3, 2, 1, and relax. Great work. So we're coming up to do our other side set of exercises. So up we come. So getting this position first of all, hips stacked, lots of space around here, core engaged, slight upside down banana position, and arm up in the air as we go for 5 threading the needle. So we're going to release those hips as we come through, stretch as far as we can, and come back up. 4 more, so reaching through, and turn, and 3, keep those hips high, and 2, and last one, stretching through. Now from here, reset that upside down banana as we're going to drop the hips for 6. So keep the arm up to the ceiling, drop hips, come back up, drop, and up. That's 2, another 4 to go. So push those hips high using the obliques. That's 4, 2 more, 5, and 6. Excellent work. Now get those feet stacked if you need to, because we're going to go into the star. So hips are stacked. My leg is lifted up, my hand is lifted up as well, and I'm stretching the 2 away from each other. So getting that length once again. Keep breathing, hold for 3, for 2, for 1, either go down or asymmetric star. Arm comes forward, leg goes back. Hold, engage that core for 3, for 2, for 1. Now back and relax down. Whew, that was a good one to finish. So, thanks very much for joining me on session 3. Let's cool down. Hello, welcome to our Pilates cool down. Are you ready to go? Okay, we're back onto our backs. So we're laying down, just relaxing on the mat. So we're in rest position. My legs are relaxed, my feet on the floor. My spine is long along the mat. My shoulders down and my head and neck relaxed, looking at the ceiling. Put the arms out to the sides. Feet and knees together, and now gently drop those knees down to one side, being careful not to arch your back. So keep the shoulders on the floor as much as possible, and just breathe into that stretch of the lower back. Keep breathing in. And now push up with the lower leg, and drop the knees the other side. So feel again that stretch in the lower back as we try and keep our shoulders on the floor. Holding here. Breathe slowly into that stretch and feel the lower back relaxing. So push up with the lower knee and drop the knees back onto the first side, but this time we're bringing the arms round to meet them. Now, if you need to, this is the time to put a small towel just under your head to prop the head up just a little bit. If you're okay, carry on. We're going to keep the knees and the ankles together. Hands out here. I'm going to open up, keeping the knees and ankles together. I'm going to open up in a chest stretch. So this time, the stretch should be felt more in the middle of the back. And of course, across the stretch. Keep across the chest. Keep moving and keep pushing those knees and those ankles together. Breathe into that. Now, if you're not feeling this stretch, extend the lower leg out. Let that front knee just roll forward. So we're now rotating just a little bit more through the body, and you should now feel a bit more of a stretch in the middle of the spine. Fantastic work. We're going to do this the other side. Now you can just roll over. I am going to just turn around so I'm still facing the camera. So we're laying on our side, arms out the front, knees and ankles together. Towel under head if you need. And open out into a chest stretch. So feel the stretch through that mid-back, and of course across the chest. Breathe into that stretch, making sure we're not arching the back. If you want to increase the stretch further, extend the lower leg, drop the roll the top knee towards the mat, and we've just got that little bit more stretch in the body itself. Fantastic. Back to our starting position. We're rolling over onto our backs once more with our legs bent, and we're going to do some hamstring stretches. So with one leg bent, lift one leg up towards the ceiling. Doesn't have to be totally straight if you can't. Hold behind the thigh or behind the calf, not behind the knee. And walk that extended leg towards your body. Only go as far as it is uncomfortable. It shouldn't be painful. So hold. When you get to that point of resistance, just hold. Breathe into that stretch, relax the body as much as you can, and feel the pull in the upper back of the leg. It should begin to subside as the stretch reflex decreases. Once this happens, if you can and if you want to, just walk the foot a little bit nearer to the body and hold again. And breathe into it. Great, now just gently put that leg down. We're going to do the same with the other leg. So lift the other leg up towards the ceiling, holding behind the thigh or behind the calf. Walk the leg towards you until you feel the pull in the hamstrings, uncomfortable but not painful. When you get to that point of resistance, hold and breathe into that stretch. So breathing through, holding those legs, and just let that stretch reflex subside. Once it has done, just walk the foot just a little bit closer to the body. Again, shouldn't be painful. You should be able to feel it, but it should not be painful. Hold for 3, for 2, for 1. Great. Gently put this foot down. Take the first leg, put the ankle over the knee. We're going to pulse the raised knee away from and towards the body. So this is working the outer thigh and the glutes. So towards and away. At the same time, I'm going to take the same hand as the knee that's pulsing. I'm going to put it just below the knee, and now I'm going to bring the knee towards the body and resist it with the hand. So you will feel it in the core. Keep pressing the lower back towards the mat, and you'll feel it as well in the inner thighs. So just squeeze and hold for 3, for 2, for 1. Now release and lightly lift that supporting leg off the mat. Bring it towards you, and you'll now feel a greater stretch in the outer thigh and the glutes. So just keep stretching. If you want to, you can gently just pulse. It's a bit more of an active stretch. So 3, 2, 1. While we're here and on this leg, drop the foot down. Completely cross one leg over the other. So very relaxed. It looks as though we're just settling down to watch a bit of TV. But what we're going to do is bring the upper knee towards us. Hold both shins. Bring them towards the chest bone, the sternum, breastbone. Lift the head up if you want to, and pull the knees towards the body. Now you should feel it in the same side as we've just been stretching, but it's a different muscle. It's a different muscle in the glute called the piriformis, and that did a lot of work in the clam. So keep squeezing, hold for 3, for 2, for 1, and relax. Now swap legs. First time we're going to put ankle over knee and gently pulse the raised knee away from and towards the body. So gently pulsing, getting a little bit of active stretching through the outer thighs. Take this hand of the knee that's pulsing, put it below the knee, engage the core as you bring the knee towards the body, oppose it with the hand, make sure that the lower back doesn't raise off the mat, and squeeze and really squeeze. You should feel it in the thigh as well. 3, 2, 1. And gently release and slowly lift the supporting leg off the mat. So now increasing the stretch down the outside of this thigh and into the glute. We're going to pulse, just gently. 3, 2, 1. Dropping that supporting leg back down onto the mat. I'm going to fully cross the legs. Again, make sure we're not arching the lower back off the floor. Keep it nice and neutral. Engage the core as I bring both knees towards the sternum. Squeeze and hold on to both shins. And if you want to, just lift your head towards the front knee as well. Really pull the knees up towards the chin and feeling that stretch across in the piriformis muscle. Hold for 3, for 2, for 1. Excellent. Knees back down. We're going to come up to a kneeling position. So, final stretch is to stretch the hip flexors. So I'm going to put one foot forward. I'm going to push my hips forward. I'm going to push them forward, keeping my spine neutral without arching, so I can feel the stretch up the front of my leg. That's the hip flexor. So first of all, get that stretch. Now, raise the same arm up in the air as the knee is on the mat. Reach that arm to the ceiling. So we're now increasing the stretch in the hip flexor, pulling it upwards, and we've got a bit of a stretch in the obliques as well. Now 3 pulses over the raised legs. So 1, 2, 3. Come back up. Stretch the arms wide. Reaching wide towards the walls, we're going to turn around, keeping this T position and move in the transverse plane. So shoulders down, just rotate over that raised leg, and 3 small pulses. Back to the front. We'll do the other leg. Here we go. So pushing those hips forwards. So feeling the stretch in the hip flexor. I'm going to stretch forward and now raising up. So you're feeling the stretch here, feeling the stretch up there. Really reach. And 1, 2, 3. And arms out to the side. Turning and rotating over that raised leg. 3 small pulses. And back to the front. Excellent work. Well done. I'll see you for the next session. Until then, keep well, stay safe. Bye-bye.